Christine Tulley, President and Executive Writing Coach at Defend and Publish, and welcome to episode 102, My Holiday Writing. It's December 2022, and I know that I probably need to do some content on how do you actually write during this crazy month of December. It's crazy for a lot of reasons. It's the end of the semester at many institutions. There's multiple holidays towards the end of the year. And for many of us, it's just the knowledge that the end of 2022 is happening. So there's this awareness of time passing. And I know for many of our clients, this is one of the most popular months that clients come to us, which is probably somewhat of a surprise because you would think everybody's too busy. There's not really time to seek out a writing coach. But one of the reasons they come is that they realize a whole year just went by and I didn't get all the writing that I needed to get accomplished. And so one of the things that we try to do with clients is to encourage them to keep writing through December and not just say, oh, well, it's December, it's the end of the semester, it's the end of the year, I'll just start all over again in the spring semester, if you're in the US or in UK. Let's think about doing some new writing once the new semester starts. And I would argue that's not really the best way to go because this is a whole month that some writing could be happening. But it is true that the writing cannot happen in the same way or with the same level of energy, most likely, because there's all kinds of competing demands depending on where you are. So what I thought I would do is just show how I approach the month of December with the knowledge that it is different. Writing during this month is different. And I have just what I would term some tactical strategies to just recognize that and still manage to get a few things done. So I'm going to share a screen. And if you're listening on audio only, it will just show one picture of my calendar, which I'm going to show in just a second here. Let's see if we can get that to advance. There we go. Okay, so it's just one slide. And what it shows is a calendar view of December with all the days marked out. It looks just like a calendar page. And one of the things that I do first when I think about tactical planning for writing in December is looking at all the days where I know writing cannot happen. This is a strategy that I recommend all the time when we do semester planning is to get into calendars and already eliminate days that it's just not going to happen. So at Defend and Publish, and with me personally as president, I don't believe in academic writing every day. I don't believe in it. It is great if it happens for some people, but I don't recommend it or believe in it as a mantra for everyone because it is not sometimes feasible for everyone for all kinds of reasons. I don't do it. And for people that do and they really enjoy it, that is wonderful. Everybody should be using a writing strategy that works for them. But I have found that if I'm very realistic with my days and times about when I can actually get some work done, I tend to fare better with academic writing. And I found that our clients at Defend and Publish also do, because one of the biggest mistakes that happens is everybody thinks they have way more time than they actually do. And so they'll look at a month and say, oh, I have 30 days to get this done. But if they would actually cross out the days that they can't get any writing done, they'll find out, oh, they have 9 or they have 17 or whatever that number is. So in December, one of the very first things I do, and I actually did this before the Thanksgiving holiday in the US, but I went through and just put X's on my calendar of days I knew I couldn't get anything done. So I'm terrible at doing math on the fly, but it looks like I've crossed out 11 days out of 31. So that means I have 20. Hopefully I did that math correctly. That means I have 20 days where in theory I could get some writing done. So that's always my first strategy in really busy months. And in fact, I do this over the course of the semester to just get kind of real about how much time I have over the course of the semester for writing projects. But for me, this is immediately helpful because I can tell from looking at this calendar view a few things. So for audio listeners, one of the things that shows is between December 1st and December 9th, I don't have any X's. That means that is my biggest, longest stretch of time with no interruption. So that's something that I notice right away by doing this. Another thing that I notice is that my weekdays in the week of December 11th and the week of December 18th, most of my weekdays are available. On both weeks, I have 4 weekdays in a block. So I have a Monday not marked off in one week and a Friday marked off in another. But in general, I have 4 days in a row that are together. And then I have a little 3-day stretch at the end of the month between December 28th and December 30th. That's it. So I have 20 days. And so what I do is I try to look at this first and then figure out, well, what am I going to do? This is the time that I have available. So what I have decided to do this December, and this December only, because this changes every single semester, every single month, based on what I have going on. So I can't use the same strategy in February. Marking the days off is the same, but I can't assume I have these same time frames open. This is sort of a, what is happening right now? Let me get very real with my time. So the first thing that I have decided to do is figure out on the days that I have those X marks, those are X marks or cross marks off those days, because I'm with family. Those are, I do celebrate Christmas. I've mentioned on a podcast before, I'm Catholic. That's a big holiday for us. So those are family days. We have a family vacation around there. So for me, I know I'm not going to do any writing. I'm not even going to try to do any writing. And I know that some people try to jam some in before, families wake up over the holidays and all that kind of thing. But on those particular days, I know I'm either traveling, I'm on vacation, there's some kind of big holiday event, and I just want to be present for it. So those are completely guilt-free, no writing days. I'm not going to worry about it at all. And for any of you that are able to do this with some flexibility, meaning you're not about to fail out of your program, you're not about to be denied tenure, you don't have some, very serious repercussion, you're not about to lose all your grant funding. If you're able to take those, if you have any holidays at the end of December that you celebrate, if you're able to take those days off, truly off, take them off if you're able to do that. It's not advice that works for everybody. I understand that some people are not able to do that, or you may be working another job. So for some of our contingent faculty, that's the time where they're making extra money to survive. I totally understand that. But if you're able to take some time off from the writing itself, that would be a way to just give your brain the break and really be present in these other things that are happening. So other things that I've decided that I'm going to do is, because my December looks relatively normal between December 1st and December 16th, with the exception of a few holidays and things like that marked off in there, I am going to continue my regular writing practice of working 2 hours a day on writing on those days. However, if there is a caveat, for example, something happens, I live in Ohio in the US where it could snow. If my children have a snow day or something like that, I realize I might get disrupted. But because a lot of December, at least the first half, looks pretty normal in terms of my regular routine, I'm just going to keep going on my regular routine. I'm working on a new writing project that I need to, make some progress on. So I'm just going to go about business as usual as much as possible while those regular days are still on the calendar. And then from December 19th on, I do have a short writing project that I need to do. It's just a short kind of 4-page piece thing that I need to work on. And I've decided to kind of slot that in because I've looked and I see there I have about 7 days. That's right. Yeah. I have 7 days between the 19th and the 30th that are open. And it's not a big project. It's something I can probably knock out. And I know those days, even though I technically don't have the full day marked off, I won't have the kind of time I normally do. My university's closed. I won't be writing in my university library like I normally do. So I know I'll be writing at home. I'll probably be writing around, wrapping Christmas presents or other things like that. So I just know that those days are not going to look totally the same. And so I like to match projects to what time is available. So another thing I might do in this time period, if I had something like this available, is if I knew I had a conference presentation coming up in January or February, I might work on some slides during this time. That's another thing that I sometimes will do. Other things that I do that aren't writing, but will facilitate good writing in January. Sometimes I will do like a desktop, my yearly clean off my desktop, clean out, delete some old files, do some organizing in that way. That's another thing that I will sometimes do as particularly related to writing projects. So if I have a big writing project with lots of data, I might use some of those days for data cleanup versus trying to generate new content. But I'm hoping that the strategy is something useful for you to just look at and think about. I encourage everybody to just grab a calendar for December, see what days you have left. See, how much time is in there, if there's anything that you can get done. But you'll notice one thing that is not happening, and I want to close with this point. every week in December, I have an open day and I will do some writing, probably not a lot once we get to the end of December, but I will do some every week. So I'm not going to have these big strings of weeks going by where I'm not doing any writing. So while I'm not a fan of writing every single day, I am a fan of touching a project at least once a week, because the ramp up period to get started in a project or restarted in a project, it gets bigger and bigger as the weeks go by. So I know some people mentally probably need to take 2 full weeks off and just recuperate for their health. That is totally okay. But for people that are at, in the middle of projects and they're able to kind of just look at them once or twice a week, it is a good way to just keep your brain engaged without fully having to generate content or really push it in ways that you might have to in other seasons. So hopefully this is helpful. And if you're looking for other holiday writing strategies, I will link to some past episodes about writing in times and places that maybe are a little less convenient that you're used to. So happy writing, everyone.